You ready?
Here.
Okay. So we're here at Marcolina's. We're starting up our interviews again. We're here with Guillo Perez III. We're going to talk about his art today. I've known this gentleman for, I guess, 20 years. That's hard to believe, but somewhere in there. And so let's just begin. We'll start at the beginning. I know that when you were young, you were exposed to a lot of art. Tell everybody about your family and how you started in art.
Thank you very much. I really admire your work, and you're a great inspiration. 'Cause I love how you frame your mind and your context in painting, and because I had such an early upbringing in art, it's rare, and especially in our generation of artists, it's rare to find an artist that has such a deep cultivation, and a well-populated mind, So
Are you still talking about me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't sure.
So, my grandfather was Guillo Perez. He was grandson of Wagner, the composer.
Yeah. Now, how did that come about? How did because you're from the Dominican Republic, or you were born in the Dominican Republic
Don't tell Trump, though.
at an early age.
I got papers. I'm American.
So, tell the story about how you found out Wagner was your great grandfather.
Yeah. I found that out after my grandfather passed away, which, I still carry that in my heart. Well, we'll talk about it later. When my grandpa passed away, like a month later, a newspaper article comes out, the national newspaper over there, talking about the lineage and stuff, and how Wagner's daughter married into the Pérez family, and then my grandpa was born,
And he didn't even know he was a descendant, did he?
I'm not sure. Like, there's so many things, like I wish I could have asked, and I didn't get to. But
But let's go back to the art. Let's go back to the art. So your grandfather was a famous painter.
Yeah, renowned. World travel. He has art in 5 museums. Painted for 89 years.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry, 81 years. 81 years. Traveled all over the world. Met Ariel Sharon, Arafat. Do you
have any pictures of any of this?
Yeah, I have a ton of them. My grandma has a bunch of them. She sends me all the time pictures and stuff. She just sent me a picture of the other day of my grandpa scolding Fidel. It's funny. He had a full life, and fully immersed in the arts. In the 60s, he was in exile. Late 50s and in early 60s, he was in exile by the Dominican dictator Trujillo, and hung out with de Kooning and them, and Velvet Underground, and old people in the village in New York. In the 60s, early 60s.
Did he go to the factory?
I'm pretty sure. Well, here's something, I might be reaching here. My dad says it's a coincidence. I'm like, Dad, come on. So my dad one day, he's like, Papa was so, he would engulf you. He has a strong personality. He'll take over your whole day, your life, And you had to do everything for him. At the studio, you had to mix all the paint for him, staple the canvas, clean the shop, align the colors, go shop for him. You had to do everything for him,
Like an apprentice.
Yeah. But, so my dad's like, and when he was in New York, Papa hated traveling. But, he'll go, come back, he'll leave, come back, get depressed and come back. And, when he was in New York, he came back emaciated because he wouldn't cook. All he ate was Campbell's soup, and Campbell's soup all day long. His friends used to call him Campbell's soup and stuff, and I'm just like, Pops, do you realize that Grandpa might be the inspiration behind Warhol's Campbell's soup? Because it's the same, the timeline, hanging out with the Kooning in them, 59, 60, 61, 62. Those were the years, and he was in there. So I was like, you haven't thought of that? And my dad's like, nah, it's just coincidence, man. Stop imagining things.
Well, since you can't validate it, that's probably why he's saying that. But he might think the same thing, too. So let's keep moving on here a little bit. So your father, did he start this school, or did your grandfather that you have in the Dominican Republic? Because you have a school there, right?
Yes. My grandfather founded it, in 1984, and my father took over, and now my little sister runs it.
So how many people go through this school, would you say, a year?
Oh, rough estimate.
Yeah.
I would say like good 2,000 to 3,000.
So this is a big school.
Yeah, and it's a homeschool too. So it's always packed. Everybody's in there. With the canvases, all the easels.
Do they pay to go there? Do they get like some kind of tuition reimbursement or something? How do they end up in this school? Do they just apply to it, or?
People pay. We give out a lot of scholarships.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
A lot of scholarships, but we fund them out of pocket. We're not subsidized by anybody's private entity. My family, they've always, I respect the government. I am law abiding. I pay my taxes, pay my dues, and do my duty. But I don't seek too much involvement with the government or political things, because as artists, we have to be above it. We have to be neutral, and we're shamans and teachers and healers. So if we're dividing the room and getting into the political aspect and things, and it's a third world too. It's a Caribbean country, so good luck getting an ambulance, let alone subsidized art education programs. But America's barely find that here anyway. So
let's move along. Yeah, at what age did you leave the Dominican Republic? And you knew you were an artist already there.
Yeah.
Right? Had you won any awards or anything up to that point?
I had taught at the school for a couple of years already.
And then when did you decide to leave the Dominican Republic?
When I was 8.
Wow. Because you still have family in New York right now, correct?
Yeah.
So did you decide at 8, or did someone else decide you were leaving at 8?
Oh no, it was me. I just one day, it crushed my father. Crushed him.
Wow.
I'm his first son, his only boy. My grandfather's favorite. And one day I just get up and I'm like, Pops, I sit down. Set my dad down, set my grandfather down, and I'm like, I'm gonna go live in New York with my mother. I love America. I always have. I've always loved America. I've always loved New York. I've always loved this country. I love being here. I love, it really, New York really fed me artistically. It really nurtured that upbringing that I had. So I'm glad I did it. It was hard not seeing family. And it was hard going through the immigration process. It was very, it was kind of embarrassing, and it kind of like.
Now, what in immigration? Now, at 8 years old, somebody had to do that for you, didn't you?
Yeah, and my mother, being she did her best. Single mom working 5 jobs.
And did you do art at an early age there in New York too?
Yeah, I always drew. Art. I always kept it close to my heart, and I always developed it. So, younger in New York, I always drew. When I got older, I would go to Art Students League and do some sketching, anatomy sketching and stuff, go sketching at the park, go sketching the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I always like to draw. And so, developing my art, to me now is natural. All I know is art, I crawl on canvas. There's little footprints in my grandpa's studio.
Like Picasso, your dad was an artist. His dad was an artist. So it's ingrained. Do you feel like you're competing with your grandfather and your father in a way?
I admire them so much. That I don't compete. My dad kind of competes with me. And I love it because I'm like, okay, let's go. But I respect him. He's a very intellectual man and a very intellectual artist, and very professional in his craft and very dedicated. My dad, he's a serious artist. He's a historian, quite a scholar. Him and Marcolina have the biggest personal libraries I've ever seen ever. They've read every book in it too. And I found that amazing. That's one of the things I loved about her. Because my dad, and I'll be in his library, just going through books. And he's like. So, father and son time, outside of me sitting in a rocking chair and watching him paint, or watching my grandfather paint, or both of them paint together, easel by easel, you know, my father and son time is always, you know, he's always talking to me and like instructing me.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So let's move on a little bit. So you're in New York. Did you go to high school in New York too?
Yeah.
There was art in the high schools, correct? Did you attend any kind of art schools or do a lot of art when you were in there?
Yeah.
And though obviously you went back to Dominican Republic to teach a little bit there when you got older.
Mm-hmm.
But while you were in high school, what kind of art were you doing there?
Regular art class at school. I always excelled. Since elementary school and art and junior high school and high school, like regular art class. I applied to art and design high school in New York, and my portfolio got messed up like a couple days before the test. So I showed up with like a couple sketches. You know, I passed the examination. I did well on the practical exam, but I had no portfolio, and I was never. In college, I did great. I got good grades, but I never did great at school. Like I have a photographic memory, so like I hated doing homework, and I would daydream in class, and then but I would get hundreds in tests, you know. So I'll pass with a C minus, you know, but I'll get because I'm getting 100 test scores, but and then my senior year I had to take 6 math classes. I used to cut class. I was wild. I was wild for a bit.
You sound like an artist.
Yeah, dude. You know, it was intense.
So let's take it from New York now. You get out of there, then you go back. You teach a little bit in Dominican Republic. How did you end up in Ybor? And was Ybor your first destination?
You know, great question. You know, I was in Dominican Republic. I went there. The way I stayed, I was working in Dugal in New York as doing production, photo retouching, creative direction.
What is Dugal? I'm not.
Dugal is a production house,
Uh-huh.
and we worked with all the advertising agencies in New York and in the world. So I used to do everybody like Tommy Hilfiger, New York Times, National Geographic. I worked with Bert Stern. You know, Marilyn Monroe's last photo shoot, Roberto Lutesco. I did photo retouching for like, you know, world class, you know, projects.
That's what my mother did for National Geographic.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and the cylinders. They would touch the cylinders up before they would print them. Yeah.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, yeah. And I did a LVT. I used to print film also, and I learned all those processes. I did print. You know, I got really good because I started young.
So I got a question. Everybody knows I'm into comic books. Did you have something to do with comic books at an early age?
Yeah.
What did you do with that?
I apprenticed at this place called Atomic Paintbrush, and at the Digital Alchemy too. We're talking about like early '90s, you know, mid '90s, early '90s, you know. So I did digital inks.
This is in New York.
Yeah, in New York, you know. So I got to work like with some cool, you know, conceptual comic books and stuff. I even got to, do a little thing for a few mainstream ones, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's interesting.
So did you decide when you were doing all this kind of commercial work that wasn't really for you, that you're really wanting to do your own thing? Is that what you started thinking? Or?
Yes. Since I grew up in an art academy and I polished my fine arts since a young age, going to art school wasn't, to me, I was like, why? You know, why?
Yeah.
I teach it. So I got a graphic design degree.
And where was that from?
In New York, at Wood Toby Coburn. It's an institute. You know, you do like the advanced program, like 2 years in one kind of thing. You know, so it's an advanced degree. They're related with Parsons, you know, School of Design and things like that.
Wow.
And they're on in Midtown at 5th Avenue and 40th.
So let's go on this. So you're doing all this in New York. How did you get to Ybor?
So. I go on vacation from New York. I was supposed to be gone for 3 weeks. And then 2 weeks into it, I'm in this market. You know, it's like up a hill, as they see down the hill, see the palm trees, the water, emerald green water, the palm trees, mountains of fruit, the music, the food. and I buy a camera, a little Minolta X70, with a lens, like, $40, got myself a nice camera, and then I'm looking at the camera, and I look up, and I'm like, crap, man, I don't think I'm not going back to New York, man. So I stayed, I was supposed to be gone for 3 weeks, I stayed for 3.5 years. I studied advertising while I was there. But in that, I happened to have fallen in love with this brilliant young lady named Marcolina.
Oh, Marcolina. I didn't know you were talking.
Yeah. And she went to law school with my uncle. So, we met on a blind date.
She was blind and you were on the date?
Yeah, I'm the blind, she was on the date, But she... so by then I wanted to get married to her already. And I was trying to plan, and I had a hard time finding work in the Dominican Republic because I was overqualified.
Yeah. For
all the jobs I applied for. And like, I'm talking about creative direction positions and stuff. So like, I was doing freelance. I decorated a resort, a 5-star resort over there. I did some things for like a couple of politicians, and I did some advertising campaigns and stuff. But I was freelancing, and I was like having to like really hustle, man, Mm-hmm. And I'm like selling paintings left and right too. So that's when I had my exhibit. I got established, like finally I had the exhibit.
And this is where?
In my dad's art gallery in the Dominican Republic, or 2004. My first solo show launched. My first exhibit, and then I was in school, but I wanted to get married. And one day I had a friend. He calls me up. He's like, "Man, I'm in Tampa." And I'm like, "What the hell is Tampa? I've never heard of it in my life, dude. I'm in Tampa. I'm trying to start a cleaning company, and like, you're my boy. We were best friends as kids. Like I could trust you and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you want to do this with me and stuff. And see what happens." And I'm like, why not? Let me go check it out. I'm trying to get married anyway. I gotta get the hell out of here because I can't find work anywhere. And then like I got mugged a few weeks before.
In the Dominican Republic?
Yeah, hella mugged. So then I was like, like I'm not trying to kill nobody, man. Like, I gotta get the hell out of here, because it's a jungle. And I like walking. I like walking the street. You can't walk the street. In the Dominican Republic, you can't walk the street. You can't be, it's like. I was there in the summer. It took full 2 minutes before they tried to mug me. I guess I got that gringo face. But anyway, so I come to Tampa. My dad's like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like you just, you're once again all over the place like that. You gotta close windows, he says. You gotta consolidate the things you start. You're almost done with your advertising degree. What do you wait? I'm like, dude, I teach the teachers, like I have more experience than my teachers in college, So I'm like, nah, I'm going, I'm leaving. And I left again. And I got to Tampa with $50, a briefcase, $50, and I lived in my friend's walk-in closet for like the first 6 months, lost 60 pounds. Doing the freaking cleaning company.
And you were painting at this time too?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was painting and stuff. And then I found Ybor around late 2006. I came across Ybor. Mm-hmm. I was living in town and country. And we were doing, all of our accounts and stuff. So I built a 6-figure cleaning company in a year. And with that money and those finances, came, got a studio here in Ybor. It was a gallery live on 15th.
Yeah, kind of remember.
Yeah, that's where I met Theo. And it was with Matthew Stanek and Peter Body and them and Paul Tavio and those guys. It was really cool. So then, that's when I started coming to Ybor. Around late 06, 07, I was,
Yeah. So when you're coming, so one of the people that you've done a lot of art with is Blake, right? Mm-hmm. So did you meet him at this particular time? And because he was here that time, I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, Blake and I, it was funny because, you know, we would hear about each other all the time. They'd be like, yo, you know Blake, you gotta meet Blake. And so I'm just like, you know, cool, I'd love to meet him. Sounds good. And like 2 years go by. And we started met, you know. It's so funny, you know. And one day, I was friends with Freddie from New York. Mm-hmm. And Freddie, he's getting some work done on the pizzeria, some artwork done.
That's where they did
they did the murals. Freddie's wall.
That's 20 years ago.
Yeah. And I go in there and I'm like, you know, Freddie. Well, at that time I was. The 2008, the cleaning company fails, and the only thing that was making money was art. Funny, right? It's funny that way. I'm like, you know, every time I veer off from artistic finances, it just doesn't. So anyway, we had, you know, lost everything. Ended up homeless. So I was sleeping in the alleyways and in the streets over here, you know, eating out of garbage cans. You know, because I'm kind of proud. I'm not gonna ask somebody for $1. Like, so I like jump on the Burger King dumpster and stuff. So I was struggling. So then I talked to Freddie. I'm like, hey Freddie, man, you know, those colors aren't really, you know, popping, man. Look, you got. How do you go from violet to, you know, canyon yellow in 2 feet? You know, like you know, it's very condensed. You know, it's all muddy, it's gray. You know, let me, you know, you can hook it up, you know, some pizza and stuff, you know, and I'll touch up the colors for you. You know, I'll fix it up, the mural for you.
Oh, this is Blake's mural?
I know. And then, you know, a week goes by, and it's a Friday night. You know, I got like, I had kids writing a poem on the buildings, and because it was a mural of New York City, and I had the kids writing a mural, their name on each building and a poem, and then we're gonna paint over it, put it into the art, you know. And so I'm painting. It's Friday night, and I'm like on the wall painting, and I hear, "Oh, you scab!" You know, and I was like, "Oh, that must be Blake." I turned around, it was him. They had just played a show at Gaspar's, and he was with his whole rock band and stuff. They were all like, you know, super wasted and like yelling stuff at me. So, you know, when Blake and I met, we almost got into a fight.
Now let's stop right here. Both of you do martial arts, correct?
Yeah.
Were you doing martial arts at this time?
Oh yeah, big time. That's what I had, you know, painting and martial arts.
Because he does Eagle Claw. Is that what he was doing at that time? And what's martial art were you doing at this time?
I was fully into Bantus.
So there could have been a potentially good fight.
Yeah, it would have been entertaining, you know, surprising, because I didn't know he did martial arts. He didn't know I did martial arts. We found that out
You're really
later.
good. I gave you that broadsword. I saw you do the broadsword the other day. You're really good at that.
Thank you.
Better than I ever was.
I was working with it. I was thinking about you yesterday. I was working with it last night, you know.
So let's go on with. So what happened here with this first meeting?
Yeah, so, you know, we have our little standoff, you know, little OK Corral type of standoff, you know, but Devin, Dana's brother, Devin gets in the way, like, come on, guys, you guys are artists, you guys are friends, I mean, chill out, you know, and we're like, all right, you know. So then, like, a couple months later, so Theo, so after that happened,
Theo Woodchuck,
you know, I owe him a lot, because he's walking by one day, he sees me selling art in the street, kind of like that gentleman is right now and stuff. I was selling art in the street, getting chased by the cops and stuff, and Theo goes up to me, he's like, meet me here tomorrow at 2:30. He's like, don't be late. And I'm like, yeah, sure, okay.
Did you know who he was at that time?
Well, yeah, no. I knew him from the gallery, from Gallery Live and stuff. We had already known each other for like, you know, like 2 years. So the next day I'm there. All right, so I was staying in an abandoned warehouse on Hannah and 22nd by the train tracks.
Okay, I know where that is.
So I used to walk with my crate because I had my dogs living there, and I would come to Ybor, sell my art, and then walk home at night and hang out with my dogs and feed them and stuff. So that day, I walked my butt down from Hannah and 22nd with my credit painting, walk it down, get here early, go to the New York bathroom, wash up, put a new shirt on, and I'm there. Boom, 2:30 sharp. Dio comes up with his gentleman. They're like, oh man, glad you made it. Good to see you. Guillermo, meet Joel, Guillermo. So he introduced me to Joel Brewer. He's the owner of and the landlord of that building where Bradley's in New York, and
Theo's introduced a lot of people. He introduced me to, was it Rauschenberg? Was that who he was hanging out with? Yeah, they came up to my studio one day.
Yeah.
Theo was the Mac Daddy of this whole area when he was here. But go ahead, I digress. Go ahead.
And you remember how he used to let people hang out in his shop, you know what I mean? So I try to emulate that for Ybor too, like keep that tradition, burning hot, So Theo introduced me to Joel. And he goes, Joel, this is Guillermo. He goes, this is my guy. He goes, give him a shot, man. And Joel goes, oh, nice to meet you, Jim, man. Shakes my hand and pulls out this key from his pocket and tells me, well, come on. I'm going to give you a walkthrough so you can show you the building.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that.
Now, where is this building?
Right there. Across the street.
Okay.
Well, it's Bradley's now, but before it was empty. It was just a pizzeria there, and then the Blue Shark in the corner. And that was my first gallery. And because Dio made that happen for me.
So who were some of the artists that were just you in this place, or were there different artists working out of there after you got it?
No, well, coming back to the Blake story. So now I got the key to the building. Got the walkthrough from Joe Brewer. We're walking out. I'm shaking Joe Brewer's hand. Hey, have a good day, Papa. Joe Brewer walks off, and I turn around. Guess who's walking out the block? Blake Emery.
Now, was he with Rothman at this time?
Rothman a little bit later, but those were the things, man. The good old Hans, Rothman, Blake, Adam. Carlos Ponce Paz, he's a great artist too. And Kevin, Kevin with his bike and stuff, like those were I love that. Esben, man, I love those days.
Esben's still in Boston, I think, isn't he?
Yeah. Talked to him the other day, texted him.
Yeah, he's doing good up there, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cold now, but go ahead. Well, so you have this gallery across the street here. And you have all these artists coming in. So how does that go?
It was amazing. So I would set up in that little patio, and I would have my art there, and just sell every day. Start making painting stuff during Christmas season. I couldn't make it fast enough. Like it was great, and then things picked up, and then from there we went to Miami.
Because I was with Blake over at the cigar factory. Were you involved in that at all over there?
No, those were pre. He and I didn't know each other back then. I'm saying those were the days, and I knew everybody that hung out there too, Omar and all the kids and stuff, And they were like, "Come over to the factory." So I'm like, "No, man, I got my studio, I got things to do, I got my shop, I don't got time to be hanging out." So it's funny, But yeah, then Blake, the day I got the gallery. Same day I saw Blake, ran into Blake, and I was like, well, we shook hands, how's it going?
You didn't call you scab?
No, man, we were like, hey, man, let's, sorry, man. We're like, yeah,
And then you were buds from then on.
Yep, boom.
So when you left, why did you leave Ybor at that time?
We went to Miami.
But I know, but was just all of a sudden you decided to go to Miami, or?
Yeah, because, things in Tampa. Remember, I was getting my life organized, so I was in a transitional period. I didn't have much stability, and I was getting in trouble in the street out here. I was getting into a lot of fights and a lot of things, and
seems like you get in a lot of fights, don't you?
Bullies.
Not lately, but like a year ago.
Yeah.
You got an eye thing. You got a hand thing.
My friend Wolf, But it's always been like that. I grew up with glasses, so I
Now let's talk about that. Now, what kind of vision do you? Is it hard after like an hour of painting? Do you start getting burning eyes? What happens? Is your vision horrible, or what's the deal with your vision?
Yeah, I'm super blind. Like I'm like almost legally blind. My prescription.
So I don't think a lot of people know that.
No, I'm blind as hell.
They don't realize how magnificent this art is till they realize that. You know.
Yeah, I don't. You know, it's
So let's go back to your art. How do you do? What do you say your art is? What do you call your type of art? Do you have a definition for it? Do you have your own name for it, or do you say you're a certain category? Or what do you call it?
I do. Well, we are. My branch is German Expressionist. That's what my family does. My grandpa did. My dad does that. So we're German Expressionist, and I call my style Bauhaus Bushido.
That's a good name.
To the blend of the martial art with the expressionist.
Ah. So now we're in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And who's in Miami with you at this time?
Blake and I.
All right, just the two of you.
Yeah.
And you start a gallery in Miami, correct?
Yeah, that took a lot of work too, though. All right, so we just went to Miami. We
Didn't know anyone.
No one. We showed up in a van at the beach, with a van full of paintings.
Whose van was it?
Blake's van.
Okay.
And loaded it up full of paintings, and then just showed up to Miami, showed up to South Beach, and started trying to figure it out. And we were living in the beach, and then so before I left, one of my dogs, Chaya, got stolen. Beautiful little pit. She got stolen from where I was living at over there in the hood on 22nd, and so he got stolen. So I had Mindy with me, and this Israeli lady, her name is Ayelet. I love Ayelet, dude. Amazing lady. She falls in love with Mindy, and adopts the dog and lets us. We lived in this Israeli lady's front yard, in her front lawn
With the van.
We lived there. We parked the van in the back.
Okay.
And we lived we were the dogs, and Mindy lived inside with Ayelet, and Blake and I lived in the front yard.
How long did you do that?
Oh man, we spent like a good 3-4 months, going through it. And
So did you get a gallery? You had a gallery there.
yeah, we had 2 galleries.
So how did you come about 2 galleries?
So after Ayelet leaves, we moved out of there. We were living in my friend's rooftop in Miami.
That's hot.
Yeah. 7 in the morning, you're already like, oh man, drenched in sweat. Oh man. I used to by 3:30, 4 o'clock, it was depressing for me because I was like, we still got 4 or 5 more hours of this freaking sun, dude, because we were walking the route.
Might as well be roofers.
Yeah. We were walking. I would walk from Lincoln Road all the way down Ocean Drive and through Española way to that was my circuit, my loop. So I walk all day long, walk around with my paintings, selling it to the tourists. And we did that when we lived in the yard. We got momentum doing that. We were making money, and getting our things together to get an apartment. In the meantime, we lived in a rooftop. And one day, I was just so over it. I was like, I'm just so over this dude. Something's got to break. And something always does. And I look, I'm like, babe, that spot is empty. A storefront. Mm-hmm. It's empty, and it's Española way. He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, let's do our dynamic duo thing. We already have our 1-2 punch,
You're the closer.
He's the opener, I'm the closer,
Yeah.
So, you'll call him. Boom, we call him. Is Mr. Ed Seltzer. I owe him a lot of, Ed Seltzer, another one of our collectors, and a man that did amazing. And kids, art opens more doors than money. And art is real wealth. Because you already heard me talk about...
The art is divinely inspired, as I say all the time. You have to be inspired by something to create art. So it's you and something else that makes art.
Mhm.
That's the way I say it.
And it opens doors.
Yeah.
And so we go to Ed Telser. We call him up and like, hey sir, we see that we saw this number. And we see that your spot's available there. We were wondering if we could see the spot so we could open up an art gallery there. We're gonna do great things for the community. We're gonna do art classes, have art shows. It's gonna be wonderful. What do you think? He's like, oh, what's your budget? We're like, oh no, we don't have a budget. It's for yeah, no, we need it for free. And he laughs. He's like, ha, yeah, you got some moxie, kid. He goes, tell you what, come to my house and we'll talk. And then we get our friend to drive us over from Miami, all over to Jacksonville.
Wow.
100-acre horse ranch. Right? He trained and bred horses for Kentucky Derby. Loved us.
I grew up with horses, so I rode horses since I was a little kid. So any story about horses I like. So go right ahead.
Oh man, waking up in his house, like it's a horse at the window with the little pony at the window with the mom with the mare. It's beautiful.
Ponies are the meanest things on 4 feet. I don't know if you know that.
I don't know that.
Yeah, they are.
Really?
Mostly they are.
Pony. Yeah. So Ed loves us, gave us a key, just like Seltzer,
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Look what art does. Art transcends finances. Art transcends all of those politics, everything. Art. Because look, 2 galleries now that I got on a deal based on asking, having values, and somebody recognizing it and reciprocating, and that's big. So we had the baddest gallery in Miami, just like that, here we go again. And it was wild. It was Espanola Way. We would do our little art parade, little carnivals up and down Espanola Way, art shows. The art gallery was packed every night, I met Banksy.
Oh.
Oh yeah, he I don't think I think he's still resentful.
You know what's funny you say that? Over here by Burger King is a stop sign. Where you go down next to Burger King, you come by the post office, and on that stop sign it looks just like a basket. Has anybody seen that? I posted it the other day. It's on the stop. I'll show it to you when we're done here. But I was looking at that. I showed it to him, and I'm saying that really looks like one right there. I mean, if they copied them, they did a good job. But let's go on. So in Miami, that wasn't good enough for you, so you and Blake take off to New York, right?
Well, yes. So Art Basel weekend. I got in. I met this lady. I was separated at the time, so I was single. I met this lady that worked. She was in town because she curated a British gallery. So met her and she's like, okay. She brought me over the next morning. We got in with her to Art Basel. And this is 2010. Art Basel, not the Art Basel now. It looks like Macy's, So we're there on Wednesday morning in Art Basel. So met Jennifer Aniston, Ben Stiller, Alex Rodriguez, Pharrell, Lil Wayne. Met all these people. I was walking around with my brush holster. And that's how I got to know them. So they all know me. They'll know us. They know Blake and I. A lot of people, a lot of celebrities know Blake and I. And it's from South Beach. So Art Basel. That afternoon, we're in Lincoln Road, selling art, and again getting chased by code enforcement, getting chased by the cops for selling art. Literally the cops are coming, running, they're chasing us on the block and stuff. It's like we're selling crack.
Yeah, like back in the 80s when we get chased off for graffiti like we did in Atlanta. So.
Yeah, but I'm literally running the street with canvases on me,
Yeah.
But we're in Lincoln Road, and this older Jewish gentleman and comes over with his son, and see, once again, kids, the power of art, bro. Comes over, man. Oh man, I love it. He's so Blake Zebra.
Okay.
I love this. This is amazing. Man, you know, like I love you guys' work and stuff. He goes, Jim, give these guys a gallery. And Jim's like, okay. He goes, you know where Chelsea is? I'm like, yeah. I'm from New York. He's like, yeah, okay. Well, we have a building. You know, you guys come up here. You know, we got a gallery for you.
So you go to another city where you don't know anyone,
But
you have a gallery waiting on you.
Pack the van. You know, we got a friend. You know, we got a good friend of ours.
So what happened to the gallery in Miami before you leave there? What happened to that place? You just closed it down, or?
All right. So from the gallery, we had the gallery in Española. My first big sale was in Española. This lawyer, Steve Corman, walks in, power of art, walks in, sees a big ass Pegasus piece that I had, giant Pegasus piece. It put a lot of work into that piece. And he's like, damn, I love that piece. Like, how much you want for it? I'm like, 16. He's like, oh, okay. I tell you what do you want? You want 16 cash, or I have a townhouse 2 blocks away on Michigan Street on 17. You want a year? I'll give you a year with the 3-story townhouse, or you want the money now? Anyway, we were living in the gallery,
Yeah.
you know.
You had a place in Brooklyn too, or somewhere, right?
Oh yeah. But this is in South Beach.
Okay.
With the Española Way Gallery. So when I give me that boom, you know, so we the owner and the hotel, the Clay Hotel, they were like already like they were going through renovations. So it worked out because we would have had to leave like in a month anyway.
Yeah.
So we took the townhouse. So now we got our studio, our gallery, and our living quarters. You know, as a work live in a 3-story townhouse in South Beach. Just like that, you know, rent free, no bills, you know what I mean? Like, you know.
Paid electric, right?
No, he took care of all that stuff.
Oh, wow.
That's what I'm saying. All we had to do was just live, you know, and by then, everybody knew us. We sold art. We had art shows at all of the hotels, all the clubs. We did live performances, like, you know, 4 days of the week, we were doing live performances at the clubs. You know, Club Jazzid, the Delano Hotel, the Mondrian, Nikki Beach, you know, like so we were already established, and I would do my routes. So we were making like, you know, we could live and feed ourselves and, you know, buy clothes and, you know, and be half decent humans, you know, almost crawl out of the Stone Age. So, you know, the townhouse is rocking, but then our Basel weekend, you know, but we got like a good like 9 months into living there, you know, like that. It was good. I built up a body of work. Where's some of the paintings? I have some paintings. Downshift. It's home. Yeah, Downshift is home. I still have some paintings that I made in that studio. So yeah, our Basel weekend. Then we go. We meet Jim. And Chelsea. Somebody offers you a gallery in Chelsea. I don't care. You drop what you're doing, and you go.
Yeah.
And man, we loaded up that van, drove up.
So being called up to the majors.
Yeah, exactly. And we showed up. Oh my God. The building they own is the Landmarks Arts Building on 28th and 10th. Okay, it's had 45 galleries in the building, and we get ground floor gallery this big, the size of this whole space. I think a little wider too. The size of this whole space, all the way to the back, from the front. This whole thing on 28th Street and 10th Avenue, ground floor with bay doors, giant bay doors that open up.
You remember any of the names of the other galleries in this building?
Oh yeah, Viridian, good friends of ours. Viridian, Spirit de l'Art. Yeah, there's a couple. They've come and gone.
Okay.
Sunderam Tagore. is there.
Oh, wow.
You know, a bunch more others. I gotta jog my memory, but
And you had some really good shows at this place too, right? There was one gentleman, he was a hairdresser, that he got right up in the New York Times.
oh yeah,
What was that all about?
yeah. So I met this gentleman. I go get a haircut, and my barber wasn't there, so I went to Ybor, the other barber, a good friend of mine, and then Joel, he introduced me to Mike Saviello. He's like, you gotta meet Mike, man. He paints. Look, he has a little room in the back of the barbershop where he does his little paints at. I'm like, nice, man. So I'll go meet Mike Saviello. Meet him, very friendly guy, beautiful person. I like him already. And I see his art, and I see that, he's honing his craft, he's getting there, he started, later in life, so, he's building his dexterity.
Wow.
And then his story, man, like, he started painting to deal with the fact that his wife had cancer, and so he did it as an art therapy thing. And that moved me. I was like, wow, dude, like, and then it was my moment, and I was like, dude, this whole interview, I've already told you how many people have done something for me.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, I owe it to what's been done for me. I owe this. Hey, I love him, but I owe this, morally. So I'm like, you know what, dude? I'm going to give you a solo show. I'm going to launch you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to package you. We're going to nurture you. We're going to develop you, incubate you, and, I'm going to help you get organized, and then we're going to launch you. You're going to have your solo show at the gallery for free, okay? And, blew his mind. Dude, we came out in the New York Times, 4-page article of the show, how the gallery, and the story and everything, came out like all over the news, like 4 or 5 news channels up there. Everybody, New York Times, but like New York One News,
London Times. London Times.
The London Times, it was crazy. We sold the show, sold out show, amazing.
Is he still painting?
Yeah. Oh, he's thriving. Oh, he's big time now.
Oh.
Big time. He did New York Fashion Week. He's done like New York Fashion Week now for like 3 years straight. With painting garments and stuff. He's flying, doing better than me.
So while you're there, then COVID hits, right?
Yeah.
And that could have kiboshed on a lot of it, or?
And everything. Everybody thought it was crazy. Marcolina thought it was crazy. Everybody thought it was crazy. Because by November, I'm on TikTok in November. I'm on November 2019. I'm just scrolling through TikTok. And I see a Chinese guy getting welded into his apartment. And then the police has a mask on, and there's another guy welding the thing, and the guy's like, ah! And I was like, uh-oh. I don't know what the hell that is. That's coming here. And then I go, and August, we came out in New York Times. We're like on top of the earth. We're in the peak. We made it. We are rocking. The kings of New York, the best gallery in New York, We finally made it. 10 years of hard work, carving out the name of the gallery and cultivating and everything. Finally paid off. We got our breakthrough. We're making money. We got world recognition. We got artists, everybody. We were booked till infinity. And I'm like, yo, we're closing up. We're closing everything down. We gotta get the hell out of here. Everybody out. Go. Run. Head for the hills. Get the keys back to the landlord. And everybody's like, yo, you lost your mind. I can't wait. I told Marcolina, I'm like, yo, we gotta go. Marcolina's like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving New York. I'm not going anywhere. You go. And I'm like, what? Oh my God. She made me wait till we were the last airplane out of JFK. By the time we landed, we left JFK. We landed in Tampa. JFK was closed. So maybe wait. We left in March 3rd, and I wanted to leave since November. I was telling her every day, come on, we gotta go, stop playing games, we're gonna miss the bus, we're gonna get quarantined in here, and then the people from the Bronx are gonna come in, and they're gonna break through our walls, and they're gonna eat us and our cats. We don't have cats, but like they're gonna eat the cats. I think Trump got that from me. Because it was I was telling literally, as my thing, I was telling everybody in New York, dude, they're gonna be eating their cats soon here. They're gonna be eating their cats and their dogs, and we're gonna leave soon. Everybody out. Everybody called me a conspiracy guy.
Okay, so you leave New York and you come here, and what happens there? Everybody, Blake, you, all of you leave New York. Is that the
Blake? He left quick too, and then Blake had left already by late December. Before Christmas, he was already out.
All right. And then you followed after that. So
yes,
so everybody's here in Tampa, and what do you do then?
We quarantined. We did the pandemic at my Shifu's my kung fu teacher's farm. It was the most peaceful experience, and nurturing and growing and healthy, and like did tai chi all day, painted. Did tai chi, did kung fu all day.
Drum circles?
Painted, hang out. You know what I mean? No, he's not the drum circle type. You know. But it was so peaceful, you know, and then like all the phone calls from my New York friends would come in. I'm like doing Tai Chi. And my phone rings, you know, I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Oh my God! Everybody's dying here! The ambulances! They're robbing people! Oh my God! You know? I don't know what to tell you, man. I gotta go back. I'm doing Tai Chi. I'll call you back. Okay. You know, so that was that. So yeah.
So you don't regret leaving New York because of all that, right?
No, the New York I grew to love isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I love Ybor. I'm glad he. Oh, so we're back here because if we're gonna repopulate the earth, you know, I'd rather be. I don't want to be in New York, and you know, abroad. You're gambling. So yeah, my calculations are correct. You know, Ybor was the best place to ride Armageddon.
And now you've been here for over a year, almost 2 years, right?
2 years.
2 years. And how do you feel about Ybor now since you've been here 2 years?
You know, I have deep love for Ybor. I have fond memories, and I care about Ybor. I'm not just here to make money from Ybor. I'm here because I care. I could have gone to South Beach. I could have gone to Miami. They buy a lot more art than Tampa the people do. You know, sorry to say, buy some art. But you know, no, seriously, you know, like it's like they fight it here. You know, I mean,
it's like a walls put up for art here.
Yeah.
And if you break the 300 barrier, you're a lucky artist.
Yeah.
In this area, you really are.
Yeah. And you know, we need more support. We need better structure. We need more access, you know, and I'm putting my money where my mouth is. You know, I'm not just, you know, an idealist, you know, I mean what I say, and we mean what we say, you know. So, talked her into the journey of opening up the wildest gallery, you know, in Florida right now. So, but yeah, because it matters. Look what art has done for me. In my life, you know, art kept me off the street, kept me out of trouble, you know, like it's.
And you do have a lot of different artists come through here. You've done on Monday nights you have a drawing class, correct? Well, once a month you have the life drawing with the nudes, the models. And then Tuesday night, what is Tuesday night here?
We're doing that once a month now. It's band practice.
Okay. And what is that for people? What is the band? Is it just show up with an instrument and you jam?
Show up and jam.
Okay.
And you know, like harmonizing, improv harmonizing. You know, like whatever you do, you sing, you rap, you dance, you play
stand-up comedy or whatever.
Yeah, like harmonize. Or somebody's playing with a guitar. You know,
so it's more than just band practice.
Yeah,
that's just a name for it. It's just whatever talent you bring to the thing. And what do they pay to do that? Like $10 for the?
No, before we were doing like we decided those performances and are free. It's a free event.
Okay. Because there a while you were doing, because, you know, it helps out to have something like that.
Yeah, we had an open mic going on with a young gentleman, but things didn't,
Progress the
way we wanted it. So then we turned it back into band practice. This is what we do. You know, we just come here, drink some wine, and jam. You know.
So there's one thing we left out. You have a child, right?
Yeah, the fourth is with us. You know, I'm very proud of her. I talk to her often. You know, teaching her how to draw her whole life. She's awesome sketch artist.
And where does she live?
Fort Myers, with her mother.
Okay.
I made her when I was separated from Marcolina on the New Year's. You know, my little baby. But yeah, she's amazing.
You were surprised by this child, correct?
Yeah, I was running from the cops the day I found out I was a dad. So you know,
okay, running from the cops.
Yeah, I know. All right, so one of the reasons why I left Miami too, what sped up my exodus from Ybor to Miami was I got arrested for breaking a stop sign, which I didn't do. It was already broken. I was just drunk and kicking it on the floor. And then I got arrested. The cop charges me with everything that's broken from here to Alabama, you know? And
that'd be a lot.
Dude, it's going to give me 5 years.
Right.
You know? And you know, it's like 5 years. 5 years? Okay. Pew! You know? So then my friend, I won't say his name, my friend's driving me to Miami. And I got a phone call from my other friend. Like, oh man, where you at, bro? I'm like, hey, see you at the art show over there down south, man. He's like, oh, okay, dude. You know, somebody just called me. The weirdest thing ever. I don't know what she's talking about, but she texted me a picture of the cutest little baby. She looked just like you too. And I was like, New Year's. Oh shit. You know, I told my friend, yo, turn the car around, dude. I got a kid. And he's like, I'm not turning this car around, dude. You're running from the cops right now. I'm like, yo, dude, turn this freaking car around. I gotta go meet my kid, dude, you know? And I went, love at first sight, you know? She's a lot like me.
Has your parents met this time? Okay.
Yeah, I know. You know, she's better. She's a better version of me. She's a lot like me, but she's a better version of me. But here's the thing, she's like my mom.
And how old is she now?
15. She has an art show on the 30th. She has an art exhibit on the 30th.
All right.
At some performance center in Fort Myers.
Has she ever been to Dominican Republic?
Not yet. I'm waiting for. I want to get.
Make sure she don't get robbed there like you did.
I was just about to say, I wanted her to get more dexterity with hand weapons, and get some martial arts in there more, and then we're gonna travel the third world,
Okay, well, I guess we've talked quite a while, but is there anything you want to say before we stop? Anything in particular we missed or anything?
Thank you. Thank you, and thank you for you're very, very thorough. I want to encourage and remind everybody that please, artists are sentient people, and they're how can I say, what's the word? They're delicate. They're strong but delicate, and every artist and you come across is feeling this density in humanity and in society. So we're like mushrooms, we take the crap and then we through our communication network, we take the crap and turn it into nutrients, and through our art. And this is how we heal and cultivate society. We are the healers. We are shamans. And we are now experiencing times in our society, in our communities, that it's always been hard to be an artist, but right now it's extremely hard to be an artist. Like harder than any other time in maybe modern history. I won't say all of history because, the Dark Ages must have been pretty tough,
World War II was bad too.
World War II was bad. Yeah.
World War I was hard for her.
And see, World War III now, so he's a cycle. So, be mindful, just be mindful, and artists need access, not just material things. Artists need access. Artists need affection, and artists need encouragement, because you gotta be crazy to challenge the entire norm of society to do art. I'm an artist not because I'm unemployed, I got degrees and stuff. I can have a 6-figure salary, working at an advertising shop, doing anytime. I'm an artist, and I live. This is my life. Like, there's no other way of living, and this is the most important job on earth. I can debate it. You can question me about it. This is what we do. Is the most important work in the planet, more than doctors.
And I think that's the way to end this.
Yeah, thank you.
This was a great interview with Guillermo here at Marcolina's. We'll have some more interviews real soon. We're thinking about all the people in the fires in Los Angeles. We're hoping everything's going to be going good out there. So be with us next time.
Yeah.